Good evening. I'm Paul. This is Dave. I am a beer drinker, and Dave here is a certified beer judge, as well as a home brewer. And we're bringing you this evening another exciting episode of Cask Talk, where we're going to be talking about the Oak Creek Brewing Company Nut Brown Ale. See if Dave can get a good shot in there for you.
Yeah, I really like the label on this. And to give you a little background, one of the reasons why I like this beer is because it's one that I've had for a long time. So it goes back to even when I was doing my BJCP classes, I had lots of friends. They would make the pilgrimage to go up to Sedona on a regular basis just to go into this brewery to have this specific beer. They were big fans of it. So it was one that I was exposed to really early on, got a chance to do that, and have enjoyed it over the years with plenty of trips up there with plenty of people. So Sedona is definitely a unique and it's a world famous place.
Yeah, beautiful red rocks. Apparently there are vortexes up there,
Yeah.
if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, so if you've never been to Sedona or Oak Creek Canyon, this is a place that even when growing up here in Arizona, we would go up and just get out of the heat a little bit and then swim down the river and just have lots of fun. And it's a magical place where the terrain just has these huge sandstone
Red rocks.
red rocks that just kind of elevate themselves like big bells, basically, right out of the terrain. Great hiking, get into some really like nooks and cranny areas
Slide
if you
rocks.
like.
Slide rocks up that way.
Yeah, Slide Rock, which is an area that we used to go swimming a lot. And it's just beautiful. It has really kind of a magical sense to it because it is unique in the look and enjoyable to go up to. So if you've never been there, definitely get a chance. You should do that.
Yeah, well, I was walking through the store today and this one caught my attention. So this is what we're drinking. I've never had it. I do have to say, as an Arizona boy, I do appreciate the cap. Nothing quite like your state flag on the beer, right?
Absolutely. So I'm excited. So Nut Brown Ale, obviously it's an English brown. So
Like a Newcastle.
yeah, kind of like a Newcastle. I'm expecting it to be maybe a little breadier than that.
We don't have real good lighting today for one reason or another, but it is a very dark colored beer. It is very brown. As you can see, the head even has some
Yeah, a
nice
little
brown to it.
brownness to the head. It's a good brown though.
Yeah.
It's not like a murky brown or a dirty brown. It has like a sharp brownness to it. So I think they've really hit the nail on the head when it comes to that. And decent head to it coming off of it.
Not a lot of lacing, but that's okay. Definitely has the right smells.
Yeah, some good malty smells to it.
Hint of hops in there, just a hint.
Yeah, I think some of the recipes that we were looking at, obviously we didn't look at the main recipe, but it uses Fugel's hop, which is a really English hop. And again, it's an English style beer, generally, the brown ales.
This is also a 5.5 APV.
Yeah, so it's definitely a little bit on the stronger side, but not overly strong.
That is exactly what I expect out of a nut brown.
Yeah,
Little
they
on
do
the
a
malty
really
side
good
for
job.
me, but this is a good beer.
Yeah, I'm always been really impressed with it. And it does. It delivers exactly what you're looking for is that beer kind of taste, that malty kind of taste. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it, some really good smell, kind of a nuttiness. It's like bready nuttiness that comes with it. And it's just very enjoyable, smooth,
Yeah,
not really
it's very
bitter,
smooth. It's
well
not
balanced.
a bitter beer. I mean, there's a little bit of bitterness in there, but it is for balance. I can tell. It's
Mm-hmm.
without that, you would miss it without that.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely into the balance range. It does have some bitterness, a little bit of hoppiness to it, but not overly hoppy, not overly bitter. It's
Not
really on the
thick.
light side. It does have a little bit of leaning towards the sweetness and some really cool bready, nutty kind of flavors.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's not heavy like a porter or a stout either. It's more on the thin side, though the mouthfeel is definitely stronger than a lighter beer would be, like a IPA or a Pilsner or Modelo or something like that. It's not watery feeling in your mouth.
Yeah, this is almost like it's obviously not considered a session beer. Session beers are typically lower in alcohol. But for the purpose of what they are, which is like if I'm going to go down, I'm going to probably know I'm going to have a few beers. This would be a really, really good option.
Yeah, and this beer,
Lots of character.
at least to me, this beer basically smells and tastes the same. I really
Mm-hmm.
don't see any difference between the scent of it, or the flavor of it. A lot of other beers, you can smell it. It smells different than what it tastes like. Promises one thing and then doesn't necessarily deliver that way, or promises something that's kind of questionable but doesn't deliver that in the flavor. But the
Mm-hmm.
smell and the taste on this beer is basically interchangeable.
Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it too. It does have a really good smell, and that smell delivers when you do taste it. So it's not anything that's over the top, but it's very enjoyable.
No, this is a beer that is a good quality beer. It doesn't hit you in the face like a lot of the beers I like, but at the same time, I can see where this beer would appeal to a large mass of people.
Yeah, yeah, it's not hot in any way. It's got a real smooth taste. Very, wouldn't call it thin. It's got a good mouthfeel to it.
Yeah, it's
Very
not
moderate.
thin, but it's far from thick.
It's not heavy. Yeah,
No.
it's not heavy either. So, really, from a beer standpoint, I mean, this is something I would be safe for anyone who's experimenting around with a beer. Where if you're used to just kind of standard beers, like, I don't know if I like it because maybe that's too much or that's kind of way on the extreme. It's not an extreme beer, but it's very well crafted in regards to how they balance out that sweetness with the bitterness and with that nutty malty flavors,
Yeah, it's very well
with a
rounded.
little bit of hoppiness to it.
If you like the Newcastle, and we'll probably do Newcastle at some point in the future, not too far off. But if you like the Newcastle beer, because that's a real common one for nut browns, you'll definitely enjoy this beer.
Yeah. I almost would say this may be a little step up from the Newcastle.
Oh no, I'm saying it is a step up, but it's something you'll enjoy. Like you'll appreciate it. You know, going in that it's going to be satisfactory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very enjoyable beer. I could see having it with a lot of meals. This is a good meal beer. So just because it's, I probably wouldn't reach for one of these if I'm out barbecuing or out in the sun all day. Like it may be a little bit too heavy. I'd probably grab a Heffy or maybe grab a Pilsner or something like that. But if I'm going to sit down and have a nice meal and I'm like, hey, maybe I should go with red wine or maybe a beer, this would be a great alternative to the red wine.
Yeah, no, this would be good if you wanted to do that. I would probably drink this after I eat, which we did eat earlier. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a beer you could enjoy 3 or 4 of in an evening.
Mm-hmm. Very easily. I'm pretty sure we're going to probably enjoy 3 or 4 of them this evening.
Maybe we would enjoy all 6, but the nice thing about this is it's not, like I said, it's a 5.5 beer. So you could drink 3 or 4 of them and not be questioning your functionability depending on how fast you drank them.
Yeah, 5.5 alcohol by volume. I think 21 IBU. So again, it's not rating very bitter. It does have a little bit of sweetness to it. Yeah, I think this would be a great beer for a lot of people to try. So if you haven't had one, I would highly encourage you to do so, and I would love to hear what you think of it. If you're from Arizona, if you've been up to Sedona before, this is probably one of the primary breweries there, right kind of in the center of town. Real popular kind of tourist area. that they're located in. I'm sure a lot of people have gotten a chance to go up there and try it.
If you find this at your local Total Wine or Bevmo or grocery store,
Yeah.
definitely pick up a sixer. It's not unreasonably priced. I think I paid $10 for it, so
Yeah, and I don't know
it's
how
just
well they're
going rate
spread.
for a lot of beers. So
Yeah, I don't know if this is something that's easily picked up outside of Arizona. Obviously, because we're in Arizona, it's more common here. So it may not be as widely distributed. But if you get the opportunity, especially if you're, I mean, Sedona's like this world famous place. People fly
yeah,
in from all over the world because it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. So if you get an opportunity to go there on a vacation, highly recommend Nut Brown Ale, Oak Creek Brewing Company.
I'm curious to try some of their others now.
Yeah, no, I definitely think we should probably do some experiments with them and
Well,
check them out. What do you think?
let's get on to our rating system then. As far as presentation's concerned on this beer, it's a pretty beer and it's a very good smelling beer.
Mm-hmm.
And for that reason, on the presentation, I'm actually going to give this a 9, which is a very high score lately for me. I've been getting more discriminating, as it were.
Yeah, I'll match you on the 9 because I agree. I mean, I think the only thing that would make it better is if the head had a little bit more moussiness to it, something where you could
lacing.
drink through it, and that would probably give it a little bit better lacing as well. So something like that, I think, could make it a little bit better. But I think they hit the color on this perfectly. It even has that brown head, which I think is also kind of real important if you're making a brown style ale. And I think the smell of it was right on point.
Yeah.
That it's exactly what you would expect from a smell. Most of the time, especially if I have a porter or anything like that, sometimes I'm disappointed. You know, it'll smell great and then I'll taste it and it just doesn't deliver. This is one that seems to actually pull through that. So definitely high in the presentation and the taste. I'm probably going to do like an 8.5 on the taste.
I'm going to go an 8 on the taste. It's an excellent tasting beer. I've had better beers. As far as the style's concerned, they freaking hit this one out of the park, is in my opinion. And for that, I'm going to give the overall on this one actually a 9. So once again, I'm being pretty generous. Dave told me when we were at the store, I said, well, what about this one? He says, oh, that their nut brown's really good. And I said, okay, well, I grabbed that. And Dave's right. It's an excellent product.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I'm going to match you on the overall on this on a 9. I'm probably going to do like maybe an 8.5 on the personal preference because I do like this style of beer. And this is just really well done.
Yeah.
Like it's really enjoyable. I'm having a great time drinking it. I'm going to have a great time drinking the rest of them. And, you know, I think that obviously it's a personal preference of mine. If I'm going to walk in there, I'm going to definitely order one, kind of regardless of what they else have on tap, just because I know that it's going to deliver. And this is a good style. It's really done really, really well. If it's not being distributed outside of Arizona, it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because they do
We're
such
sorry
a
for teasing
phenomenal
you.
job.
One thing I will say about this beer too is I could drink 1 or 2 of these and it wouldn't ruin my palate for other beers. So if you wanted to switch, this isn't a bad beer just based on that alone. But as far as personal preference, I'm going to be down at a 6. And mainly it's because I don't care as a whole lot for the malty beers. This one has that kind of coffee hint to it, and that flavor is just not a beer flavor that I enjoy. But given that it is a 6, I will drink this over a lot of other beers. So
yeah, and that's probably from the coffee malt.
yeah,
So the way they roast the malts, it kind of creates some coffee notes in it. Yeah, I can see that. I'm a big coffee person personally, and so it's not a distaste for me.
yeah. Well, like the cool beans, for example. I'm not interested in drinking that basically at all based on that malty flavor. But do notice of all the videos, I think Dave has finished his beer before mine, and this is a first. So
it is a first.
Clearly, it's an endorsement from him. With that being said, like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. We'll say all the nice things about you. And cheers.
Tell us what you think about it too. Love to hear.